What is going on, my Jets family? How's everybody doing out there? Thank you, like always, for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Thank you for being here with me, Harrison Glazer, here to talk to you guys all about them Jets. Unfortunately, my boy Mike is a little bit late at the moment. He said he was up shooting some basketball. Hopefully, he didn't sprain an ankle or something. He said he's be joining us in about a minute or so he'll be hopping in. So Mike will be here momentarily, and he's our guest for this evening. We're going to be talking about the Jets getting to the quarterback, which is a very, very important thing that we haven't seen as of last year. Last year was actually quite bad with the Jets getting to the quarterback. So we're going to get into that. I want to wait for my boy Mike to show up. Again, should be here in about a minute or two. Like always, again, I see you guys coming in. Thank you for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Before Mike gets here, a lot of interesting things we could talk about. OTAs have been going on. And again, as you guys know, you can bring up questions in the chat, ask a question in the live stream. Feel free to, bring stuff on. So OTAs are coming in. They're going on right now. We've got to see a little bit of Zach Wilson play. And from what we've heard from coaches, Zach Wilson looks good. What coaches have said, LaFleur actually earlier this week in an interview had said that Zach Wilson doesn't seem to get tired of learning. He's a playbook hog, which, as you guys remember, I was telling you guys that. Remember back when all those crazy ass rumors were coming out, like, that 3-car garage bullshit and all that crap. I was saying it's not true, especially his teammates, his coaches, everyone was coming forward saying it wasn't true. Those weren't the facts. He was a great guy, but not just that. He loved the game, and he showed that at his pro day in his interview. So he's been lighting it up. Michael Carter, the running back, has looked good. We've also seen good stuff from Tevin Coleman. If you've heard on interviews recently, I believe it was Connor Hughes, I want to say, who said that the way it looks right now is Ty Johnson actually looks a little bigger, is what they're saying. Ty Johnson looks a little bigger than last year. He's getting a lot of the feature carries. Michael Carter, they said, looks like he has the most potential. And if you guys remember, that's what I was saying. I tweeted back what I thought the running back committee was going to be. And before we took Michael Carter, remember, I was stoked on the Ty Johnson, Josh Adams combination. I thought it was underappreciated combination. I had a video out showing how their stats were top. High numbers, high averages. If they got more carries, they would have been great, but they weren't getting the carries because Frank Gore was getting the carries. But I said right when we took Michael Carter, I figured we'd take a running back in the 4th round, as you guys remember, maybe 5th round, somewhere around that area. Michael Carter wasn't supposed to be there. You guys remember my take back when we talked about the draft picks. Michael Carter was like borderline 2nd round talent. Should have been gone in the 3rd. He was slept on because of Javonte Williams. I had said it back before the draft. He's a little guy, but he packs a punch. Like, if you watch the kid play, you wouldn't think he's 200 pounds. Like, you wouldn't say, oh, that's a 200-pound running back. He plays tough, plays hard, but his patience is his underappreciated skill. Right when we took him, I was like, that guy's going to be our feature guy. So I see him lighting it up. I figured I saw Ty Johnson lighting it up in the running game, and that seems to be the case. If I believe, again, it was Connor Hughes who had said it, that, again, Ty Johnson looked a little bigger, looked a little, tougher in the trenches. Him and Michael Carter were getting the majority of the carries, and Tevin Coleman was the pass-catching back, which is exactly what I said. That's what I figured. If you watch Tevin Coleman, one of his best traits is his pass-catching ability. That's why I kind of see LaMichael Pirine on the inside looking out right now, unfortunately, because that's his thing. Like, his thing's the passing game, or it was. So, no disrespect to LaMichael Pirine. I gave him my shout out. He's got to hit that gym and beast up like an animal and just work at it and get it like crazy, man, and beef that stuff up, turn into like a Chris Ivory type, or he's got to hit the agility drills and get a little more juke, get a little more agility going, get a little faster, because right now, Tevin Coleman's going to be the pass-catching back is what it looks like, and Michael Carter and Ty Johnson are going to be the runners, which is what I figured. And if it were up to me, I'd keep Josh Adams as the other guy. Told you guys, again, in that video take, it wasn't just about Ty Johnson. It was about Josh Adams, too. Adams has a lot of potential, and he looked good. In fact, again, we're looking at a limited sample because everything went to freaking Frank Gore. But in the limited sample, Josh Adams was actually better than Ty Johnson. So I would keep Josh Adams if it were me. I'm sorry, LaMichael. Again, impress me. I say this to anybody. I was the same way when I played, unfortunately with my back. Things don't work out, but let the negativity guide you. Everyone will tell you that, man. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Go out there, kick some ass again. Hit that gym like it's every day, work out every day, or hit those agility drills. Chase something. I don't know what it is, but get it down. Now is your time, man. Make it happen. That's my message. So, still waiting on Mike, unfortunately. He should be coming soon. Again, if you guys coming in later, I see you guys piling in again. Appreciate you guys, like always, for tuning into the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Appreciate you being here. He said he was playing some b-ball, so hopefully he's coming in soon. Let's see what's going on here. He said 2 seconds, but that was 6 minutes ago. So hold on. He says he's coming in now. So, okay, let's see. Here we go. He should be coming in a minute. When he comes in, I'll bring him in. We'll have Mike here. We'll chat it up, talk about them Jets, but more importantly, get into that pass rush, because that pass rush is something exciting. Me and Mike, we're going to get into that, man. So he says he's coming in now. Should be any minute. We could play that Jeopardy music for you guys in the background. I'll get it going. I'll go play it for you. But so yeah, still waiting on Mike, unfortunately. I don't know if you guys want to send him those Twitter messages. Actually, at second thought, don't do it. He'll hate me. Don't do it. All good, man. But yeah, so he should be here any minute. So we were talking about the running back situation. Again, I want to get into the pass rush. I'm dying, man. I'm itching at it. But we're going to get into it when he gets here, because that's what we're going to be talking about. So we talked about the running backs. Wide receivers. Keelan Cole has lit it up in camp so far. And that's because Denzel Mims hasn't really been playing. Corey Davis wound up getting hurt. So I do want to say, though, from what it seems like, the Davis injury, even though he seems to be doing good, that seems to be the right message right now, that Davis is doing well. It's not a bad injury, so that's a good thing. But Keelan Cole lit it up, man. Hold on. It says Mike is saying he's not able to get in. We got a problem. Mike can't join us. Oh no, what are we gonna do, guys? Hold on. Let's send him the link again. Let's make this work. We got this. We got this. Mike is coming. Don't you worry. It might take a minute, but it's worth the anticipation. It's all worth it. Okay, so he should be coming in with us momentarily. Braden points out, shout out to my man Braden again. I appreciate all you guys. Comment in the messages, bring it on, let's talk. Braden says, yeah, man, you know, I love a bit of Cole. For us right now as Jet fans, I love Mims. I love Corey Davis, but you know what? And I think you guys would agree with me on this. Other than Zach Wilson, I don't give a crap who shows. Whoever wants to show, it's an open ticket. To the weakest guy on the roster, to the guy you don't expect to see coming, to the undrafted guy. If you want it, come get it. Like, I want it. Like, I'm excited about Corey Davis. You guys know I am. I'm excited about Denzel Mims. But Keelan Cole, man, Keelan Cole, more often than not, when he makes the catch, he makes a crazy-ass catch. It's a highlight reel catch. This dude does it. He knows what he's doing. I tweeted a video out the other day, and the commentator even said the same thing. The commentator at the end of the video was like, speed guys, when they go out, they I don't have the exact quote in front of me, so I'm going to screw it up. That's what's going to happen here. But he said, speed guys, they just go out, they run a route, but you don't have a guy turn around and just make a one-handed catch like that. So that was some impressive stuff. So we got Mike here. Mike's ready to join us. We're going to bring him in. Let's do it.
Yo,
hold on, buddy. How you doing?
How we doing?
It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you made it in. We were having some connection issue.
Dude, I was playing basketball too. Some guy scratched me. This guy was like,
"Oh shit, did I jinx you?" Because like when we started, I was like, he was playing hoops, and I hope he didn't hurt himself.
He fucking had claws, and he scratched my arm. But I didn't even call a foul. I'm not gonna, not gonna brag about it.
Yeah, street rules. Just punch him in the face on the next time.
I actually hate penalties in football. There's way too many penalties. But that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, to an extent, though. Right? You can't just. I forgot what's that movie. Remember, I think it was Not Another Teen movie where they bring the kid out there. And remember, the two guys just break him in half.
Oh,
there's got to be an extent. You know what I mean?
All right,
Penalty, murder, 15 yards.
no, they just 2 back, and the NBA I think is having the same problem. People are getting pissed, but in football, everything is a pass interference, defensive pass interference bullshit. You can't play defense. And all right, they want to score points. It's working, but I don't like it. I want vicious, smash mouth football. I'm not going to get it. So maybe with Robert Saleh, I'll get it.
I think you will, man. I think you will. And you should be excited about those 2 freaking safeties we took to play linebacker. If you like smash mouth football, like Jamie and Sherwood, that dude like straight out murders people. Like that's his job. And Hamza Nasruddin ain't a slouch either. Like those 2 dudes are going to murder people left and right.
I think Joe Blue posted Nasruddin like murdering with Michael Pirine in college. It was nuts.
Yeah, bro. Nasruddin is like in 2 years, he had 192 tackles in just 2 seasons. The guy's like a machine. And Sherwood, like my favorite thing, I can't stop saying this, man. Sherwood, they interviewed him about being slow a little bit. So his interview question was literally like, I don't care too much about it because it's all about hitting. He literally said at the end, it doesn't matter if you run a 4.140 when you hit a brick wall, that ends. I was like, dude, I love it.
That is awesome. It was funny. I was reading his scouting report, this Sherwood on NFL.com, and they were saying, look, this guy, and they had him as a safety, and their big issue with him was that he doesn't have enough speed, but he's not going to play safety. He's probably going to play that will linebacker spot, and good. I hope he's, you want him to be big and fucking able to smash someone, and if it's an obvious running down, he's not going to play anyway, probably. They'll just put, they can put an extra defensive lineman. Now we have Mr. Blair can come in and set the edge, like old Calvin Pace and Jordan Jenkins. And I think the Jets are in a good spot on D, minus a corner. I'm still kind of frustrated that they haven't done anything at cornerback and are saying that they're not going to.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I'm happy to, it's fun to have you on. Just, quick intro.
Oh, yeah.
Happy to, everyone knows who NYJMike is. I mean, the man needs no introduction. The man's lighting it up on Jets Twitter. You guys know who he is. I appreciate him coming on the show. But yeah, you guys, you know where to find him. We actually had a couple times. We were a couple of guests on a couple of shows together. It was good stuff, man. It's always fun talking about them Jets.
We've had some fun times. We always talk on the side and go over some Jets stuff. So it's good to get some of these takes out in the air.
Yeah, bro. Last time we talked, we're not going to get into it. But last time we talked, you and me were both like defending Sam, like we were like on the edge of a cliff with like Excalibur, like bring it on.
Dude, that feels like a different lifetime. Like
I said the same thing, man. I said that Jet fans this last season must have whiplash from like how much we like reverberated back and forth. Like it was just crazy.
I mean, you know how I feel about Darnold. I'm upset about it. I still think it's the wrong move. I'm allowed to think it's the wrong move. Just, if the Jets kept Sam, some people would have been a little disappointed, but I think those people would have supported Sam, and I'm going to, of course, support Zach Wilson. And you've been putting out some good stuff on Zach Wilson in the Jets rookie class. I know you're pumped up.
Yeah, no, that's my guy. I'm excited. I mean, I supported Sam. Like, he was my quarterback. Like, that's what I kind of got to the point with, like, I make the joke with, like, the Terrell Owens meme you see, but, like, that's my quarterback. Like, yeah. So, but when you step back, I realize all the negative, and he was never my guy even to begin with. Like, I talked about in the beginning, like, he was supposed to be the first overall pick. I didn't think we were going to get him. I was all over Baker Mayfield. Like, that was I wanted Lamar Jackson, to be honest. I've been saying that a while, but no one was going to listen to that. Like, I knew that wasn't happening. So I was like, got that out of my mind. I was all aboard Baker. Like, I was saying the stupidest shit. Like, I was running around going, bake me a cake. Like, just stupid shit. Just like I was so psyched about Baker Mayfield.
Look, I really, really wanted Sam. I remember the only time I ever worked on the draft, I don't know why, I really, really had to. I was delivering tacos, and I just couldn't get, I don't know, I was going to get fired if I didn't work. So I did it, and I was driving around when the Jets were drafting, and I had to pull over and just listen to them draft Sam. Once the Giants took Barkley, I was so happy. Holy hell. And then we had our guy. And now we don't. And now it's over. So
yeah, I'm telling you, man, though, Zach will get you. Like, I know, like you said, Jet fans, we're going to support whoever our guy is. And I think that was a big thing, like when we drafted the quarterback. Like, even I said I wanted Zach, but even if we took Fields, we all got to get behind him. Like, that's our guy. That's why I thought we traded Sam away. I thought it made sense at the time. But I think Zach's going to impress a lot of people. That kid, like, I think back to, like, again, I wasn't on the Sam train I was excited about Mark Sanchez, but when I think to like raw potential, like I got to think back to like Chad Pennington. It was like honestly the last time I was like this excited about the potential of a quarterback.
Yeah, I was a little young for Chad when he first came. I was like, Chad was drafted in 2000, so I was only 4 or 5 years old. But Mark Sanchez, when he came, and the Jets, they killed the Texans week 1, and then they go to New England, and then they win in New England, or they went at home against New England, that crazy loud game that we keep posting about on Twitter. And then they beat the Titans, who were fucking 13-3 the year before, 3-0. Like, what the hell? This is this sick guy. And, it's not like he was calling me. But, man, and yeah, Chad, a lot of Jets fans love Chad, another first-round pick. And then Mark, but look, and Sam, but Zach Wilson was the number 2 pick, and the Jets fans should feel similarly about him that they did about Sam. It just is weird timing. After 2017, it was the right time to take a quarterback. Like, we have Josh McCown and Bryce Petty and Hackenberg. You have to take a guy. This time, it's more controversial, obviously, because of Sam, but now that once Sam was gone, I wanted Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And yeah, we're not gonna stay too much on the quarterbacks. We're gonna go on to the pass rushing options, which is I'm excited about. But we got some questions coming in. Like always, I say appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being part of the podcast, bringing in your questions. James brought up if I could speak English, Morgan Moses or George Fant. He says, I think JD brought him in to explore his options. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, Morgan Moses is one of the better right tackles in the NFL. He's been around like for many years. But what's amazing is even though he's 30 years old, he had his best season last year. Like last year, he had a PFF of over 80. But I saw the meme you did, ma'am. I wanted you, I don't know, did you see his run blocking grade? And then immediately that's what you thought of?
That was it, yeah. I saw you like an 85 run blocking.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like 85.6 or something. Yeah.
Yes. So look, Morgan Moses, if the Jets, I don't know if the Jets are inclined to move George Fant to right guard if this happens. I was talking to Mike Mitchell, who writes for Fansided earlier today. He's terrific. Check out his stuff. And we were discussing, look, first of all, Joe Douglas has an affinity for offensive line depth. So if someone goes down and Mekhi Becton has been often injured, he's not going out for games at a time, but he comes out of a couple games last year with a little bit of a concern. You have Fant and you have Moses now. You also have AVT could play some tackle if maybe you want to keep Alex Lewis in the starting line. There's a lot of things the Jets could do. And look, the Jets have extra cash. In the beginning of the offseason, no one's going to say, if people thought the Jets were keeping George Fant, they're not going to say go sign Morgan Moses. But we're at the point where it's June 1st. This guy is a free agent. He's a terrific run blocker. The right side of our offensive line is at best. Fuck it. If it's a scheme fit and maybe they could do something creative with Fant. Maybe they could play some, put Fant in some blocking formations as a 6th offensive lineman, tight end combo. There's a lot of fun things that the Jets could do. And this, I think, I would put, why not? What do we have to sit on $25 million in cash again going into the season? Just fucking do it.
Yeah, and that's the point, man. We have money, and that's just, Joe Douglas is my guy. I'm always left and right, all these reasons why he's the greatest Jets GM. If anyone hasn't realized it yet, they'll realize it soon enough. This guy's amazing. But that's one of the things. I think so, man. I totally think so. I hope for so many reasons. I definitely agree. He's like, we've had good GMs in the past that have been good on some things. Like Joe Douglas is like everything. Like, I don't want to bow to the guy too much, but at the same time, it's like after his last draft, I feel like, we're not worthy. Like I had my picks, guys I wanted, and he just blew my mind with the safeties as linebackers.
I hear you. I think it's too early to say that because I'm a little pissed off at Joe because I very much disagree with what he did with Sam and Zach Wilson. And that's a personal thing for me. I'd rather have Sam Darnold and 4 first-round picks. You have the number 2 pick and then the 3 picks you got from San Francisco. 4 first-round picks he took and lit on fire. So the guy wants to draft everybody. Why are you letting 4 first-round picks on fire? I disagree with that. I understand it's an unpopular take now. A lot of people wanted that to happen. And I'm pissed off about last year, too. He didn't invest the money before the season. We're sitting on $20 million. We have obvious holes in our roster, not filling the holes. I understand we're going to, we're gonna build for the future. But the guy owns 2-14. It's his record. He could have fired Gaze. He could have done this. He could have done that. I love Joe Douglas. I just don't think it's time to anoint him the king. If these draft classes work out like they could work out, and if the Jets maximize the good position that he put us in, then yeah, fuck it. I think it's going to be a very popular take.
Yeah, I mean, before we go, I mean, it could be like, the whole episode could be just quarterbacks and talking about that. So I want to go on to like pass rush and stuff. But honestly, I would say, I disagree. I think, what he did for Sam Darnold, he said he was going to, do the best thing for him and his family. And he didn't draft the kid. And he did actually, putting him in the right position with the Carolina Panthers, former supposed to be head coach of his, one he was supposed to be with, Robbie Anderson. I mean, you don't agree?
I mean, that's literal. He said he's going to do the best thing for Sam for the Jets.
Well, the point is he didn't draft the kid. And you expect the guy, like the argument everyone was making, you want your own quarterback. You want your guy. And, I was the biggest Sam guy too. But as someone who was a big Sam defender, as I moved away from him, you realize he was statistically the worst quarterback in the league, like, period. And you can't put all that on Adam Gase. Then you have a guy like Joe Flacco and Ryan Tannehill. We use them as comparisons, I remember, in the past. But they were infinitely better than Sam Darnold. So you talk about, lone.
I don't think Joe Flacco was infinitely.
I mean, he was. He really. If you look at the numbers, if you compare like the yards per reception, the way they played, the touchdowns versus, and that's kind of the thing I felt with Sam when I looked back. I looked at bad versus low. Like it would be one thing if he was performing badly like Tannehill and Flacco did in the system, but he was making bad decisions based on being in a bad system.
Sam didn't play well in the areas that he can control last year. I don't think saying that Flacco was good last year is fair at all. If you go through his game log, I mean, I know I'm not going to say you didn't watch the game. Of course you watched the game. 18 for 33, 195 yards, a touchdown in a 30-10 loss. 21 of 44, no touchdowns, one pick, 186 yards in a 24-0 loss. He had one good half against the Patriots, 18 of 25, 262, 3-1, and then in a loss. And then he lost to the Chargers, who was 15 of 30 for 205, 2-1. It's the same shit as Sam. Over the final 8 games of the season, Sam had the same passer rating as Flacco. It's not great. I'm not happy that Sam had the same passer rating as Flacco, but I don't think that Joe did enough to put enough pieces in place on that team to give.
Well, he has now, and that's kind of, again, the point. Regardless of Sam, that's why they moved on, and that's why I thought moving on made sense too.
That's fine.
You're bringing a new head coach. You're building a new team. Right now, we have the weapons. Like easily, my last whole podcast episode was on the weapons that have been put on this team. We have a really solid team right now. And if you didn't believe Sam is the guy, which clearly they didn't, they moved on. And I was a big Zach fan. So I mean, I know you're upset. I mean, I was a big Sam guy, but I love Zach. Like I've been on Zach like a long time. Like back like the end of last year, I was saying like how good he was.
Look, I had a quarterback who I thought was the guy. My GM put nothing around him in a limited time. He gave him Becton, and then we had no wide receiver depth. He didn't sign any veteran. He let Sam go into multiple games with Braxton Berrios and Chris Hogan and fucking Jeff Smith and Jehu Chiasson and Lawrence Cager and Frank Gore. I want to vomit. And I like Frank Gore, and these are he's a good depth guy, but give me a break. So I think Joe Douglas had a lot to do with ruining Sam, because if Sam had a little bit of help, he had no help from the head coach, he had no help from his GM, and he didn't help himself. But if he had something, it's a perfect storm of bullshit, and he didn't have 9 touchdowns and 11 picks, I think he'd still be here, and I think it would be better for the franchise. But alas, here we are, and we can move past it. But I just don't think it's fair to anoint Joe Douglas as a god yet when he fucked my last franchise quarterback, and I'm not going to forget that.
I mean, it's a lot to get into, and I mean, like if we were doing another topic, like we could definitely, I guess, come back to that, another day. Maybe we could do pass rush another day or something. Oh, but no, I'm telling you, man, just there's literally everything across the board. Like I could give you the evidence why it all made sense, and I get if you weren't a fan of Zach Wilson or a fan of one of the rookies, but even so, if the head coach and the GM want to make a new slate, it wasn't the guy they drafted. Right now, we're going in the right direction. People are excited. He looks good as a rookie.
I'm pumped. We're going in the right direction. I get it. I'm excited. I just think that Joe Douglas had something to do with the situation that we're in.
I think of Joe Douglas, I think the better thing is he inherited a bad situation is probably the good way to put it. And he's trying to turn it around. I mean, if you don't think Sam's your guy, and we're going to see it right now. I mean, that's the thing. Either he's going to light it up with Carolina and a better team, or he's not. And I mean, I think he's going to be okay, but I would legitimately ask you this, and this is the question I asked myself.
Okay.
I would ask you the same question. Sam Darnold may be good with talent, a good coach, a competent system, but do you think he can consistently be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
I was almost 100% sure that he would be after 2019. After 2020, I was like,
consistently, like one of those guys. Like,
that's what I think he's going to be. That's why I wanted to keep him. That was my take the whole time. If you didn't think that was the case, then you should want to move off of him. I'm not even arguing.
Which is what happened with me. For me, it was more, again, like it was protecting my guy because I saw things I really think that's back in 2018 that I really liked this rookie year. Like, that's when he sold me because I wasn't a huge fan going in. Yeah. I was making knocks about USC quarterbacks and the past with USC quarterbacks.
I'm not even joking. I was 100% sure after 2019 he was the guy who was going to destroy everybody. After watching 2020 with that disaster of a roster, what we all call the worst head coach in football history, maybe, that we've ever seen, I'm not, and a bum shoulder. And look, and Sam didn't play well again. I have to acknowledge that. I'm not making 1,000 excuses for him.
And see, that's what I'm kind of saying. There's a difference between bad and low numbers. Like, if you do look at it, if you do break it down, you would see that wide receivers had a better touchdown to ratio, had a better catch percentage. They played better. The offense ran smoother with Ryan Tannehill in Miami, with Joe Flacco here, because they're veteran quarterbacks and they do have a better eye for the system and they can make the right decisions. But I think
last year, what about Sam in 2019 with Gase? He goes 7-6. He throws 62% completion,
but he still wasn't great.
But I would argue that down the stretch he was terrific, especially with the play calling. You know, Gase isn't running it out there trying to score 30 points. He's trying to win the game 20-17. Darnold over the final 8 games. I always say the stat: he went 6-2. 245 yards a game, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 64.
Which is fair, but you could say that about so you would agree he can't be a great quarterback, but he could be a good quarterback.
No, why not? If he does that, if
because I would say you should want great, and that's why I moved on. And I fell for Zach. Like, I don't know, like if I could show you the film, man, I'm telling you, he's the guy. Like, I fell for him hard and fast. Like, the second I saw him, like, I was like, I loved what I saw. I loved the pocket presence, the ability he had, the decision-making he had, the throw. It was there. And I think we're moving in the right direction now, man. I mean, I would have felt we were doing it either way because I trust Joe Douglas. But I know I get how you feel. You were a big Sam guy.
I was a big Sam guy, and there was reason why. And there was reason why everyone was a big Sam guy. This is the thing that frustrates me. It's a lot.
But that's why Sam had to be traded away, and that's kind of was my point before. If Sam was still here, no matter who we took, wouldn't the fan base still have been split? Didn't matter who we took. Wouldn't we have some fans? If we still had Sam right now, we didn't trade him away. Didn't matter who we took at number 2. If it was, let's say we took another quarterback, there would still be a debate between who's the guy.
There's a debate
Sam or that other guy.
No,
and that's why it made sense. If you don't believe he's the guy, you got to trade him away.
No, you trade him. You get 4 first-round picks. If
you believe he's the guy and you think he can be the guy. I mean,
look,
and I was with you for a long time, man. I was. And I'll be honest, once I stepped back and saw it, I realized I was looking at it through rose-colored glasses. And the more I looked at it, I realized there is some good there, but it's in a sea of bad.
Okay, look.
And
that's fine. That's your take.
You might be able to.
I'm just saying, after watching 2018 and 2019, after watching Sam Darnold, I said, this guy is special. And what I watched with this piece of fucking garbage, Adam Gase, last year, it's not enough to turn it around. I think that you're turning into the popular take, you're giving into it, and that's fine. And look, more people now think Zach Wilson's the guy. I'm not.
Well, other people might. I want to be fair. That's. I was on it back. I was saying back in December he was the second best quarterback when everyone was saying Fields. Like, I was on Zach a long time. So I know some people have come around on it. And some people, but that's kind of how it has to be, though, at the same time. We do need to get behind whoever our quarterback is.
I'm not even around it. I'm not even arguing at this point. I understand why the Jets did it. I say I disagree with it. I'm trying to make the argument that Joe Douglas is not the godsend GM because he had a 22-year-old quarterback who was ascending, and now he didn't work out. And that's partially on him. And he had 2 years, 1.5 years to surround Sam with something. And the best he could do was Brashad Perryman and a ragtag offensive line. And he sat on $20 million. And my guy, who I loved, is now gone. And I think it's a waste of the third overall pick a couple years ago. I think it's a waste of potential draft capital in the future. And I'm very frustrated by it. But that being said, I'm very excited for Zach Wilson. I think he's going to be very good. And I think the Jets are in a good spot.
Which is fair. That's the point. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But that was kind of why I felt, again, it had to happen because, like you just said, you were on Sam, but now you're on Zach because he's the only option. So I think zero controversy makes an important factor in everyone being behind whoever the guy is going to be. And I think he's going to impress you. I think he will. I feel like maybe you hadn't seen too much of him because you were big on Sam, possibly.
There was never even anything with Zach Wilson. I think Sam is going to be terrific. So unless Zach Wilson is a Hall of Famer and Sam is great, it doesn't even matter. If Sam turns out to be what I expect Sam to be from what I saw, then it's a mistake because I think you have a Pro Bowl quarterback, and I think you could have had 4 first-round picks. Now we could maybe have a Pro Bowl quarterback and not 4 first-round.
It's interesting. It's a minority take, but I like it. I like unique, man. That's unique. It's a minority take. I like it.
It's going to be unique. It should not be unique, and that's frustrating. And it's not you. I'm pissed off because I think most people thought like I.
No, I'm saying I disagree with you. I'm not saying like that you're a bad person.
Oh no! I'm not. No. Of course, I'm just saying it frustrates me what I see on Twitter because I think most people thought like I did at the end of 2019, and now every single person thinks the opposite. So do people not trust their own judgment? Are people just hopping onto the new fast thing? I don't know. Do some people just trust Joe Douglas and Saleh and what they're doing going forward, and they think they're going to roll with the new quarterback? Sure, that's great too. That's kind of where I'm at. I think Saleh and Douglas are fantastic, and if they think this is the right move, and they want to save the money from the quarterback contract, and they had a lot of draft capital elsewhere, fine, go for it. I think it's a mistake, but I'm going to root for Zach going forward, and he's my guy now.
I get you, man. I get you, and I feel like I could give all the stats as to why JD's that guy, but like I said, we're 32 minutes in and we haven't talked about the pass rushers yet. So let's move with the quarterback and let's go on to that. We'll talk about the pass rushers. So getting onto that, just talking about the pass rush for a little bit. In 2020, the Jets only had 31 sacks. Like that's it. Like 31 sacks. That tied 20th in the league. They had 52 quarterback knockdowns, which was 18th. It's their best number. Then their 141 QB pressures is 22nd, which is not good. Like, not good at all. What's interesting, though, and this is, fascinating. I was like, Robert Saleh was with the 49ers in 2020. Let's look at what they did. Their numbers were actually worse in, every category, substantially worse. But that's because they actually had the second most injuries last year over any team in the past 20 years. Apparently in the past 20 years, they had the second most injuries. They were without Bosa last year, without D Ford. But I decided to look a little further into it. I noticed even last year when all those dudes were out, they still had 68 QB hurries and made the QB rush in the pocket, which was 10th in the league. The year before that, in 2019, they had 48 sacks, which was 5th in the league, is the Niners, 172 pressures, which was 6th in the league, and their 88 QB hurries were 2nd in the league. And then the year before that, they had 95 QB hurries, which was 1st in the NFL. So his defense is even when dudes are hurt, they're consistently making the quarterback move, making him uncomfortable, putting him in pressure, making him make bad decisions. And that's how his defense is formulated. People question, you were talking about with the cornerback situation a lot, his defense relies more on that front. They rely more on creating the pressure to disrupt the pass.
Oh, dude, Saleh's a fucking maniac. You love that guy. I mean, just his energy provides a spark to the team. The way he plays his defense is going to be beneficial to the Jets personnel, which is a good thing. A good job by Joe Douglas to bring in guys like Sheldon Rankins, and now Mr. Blair came over today to provide some edge presence, and of course Carl Lawson, and you have some rookies last year that could make an impact this year, like Jabari Zuniga and Bryce Huff. I mean, and Vinny Curry is an underrated signing. I know Michael Nania loves him over at Jets X Factor. And Jets X Factor just put out an insane piece breaking down all defensive lines in football and edge groups by a million different metrics. And it turns out, by these metrics, the Jets are the number 2 defensive line in football. They have their interior defensive line is the 2nd best pass rushing defensive line and the 5th best run-stopping defensive line. And how about this? The edge rush is the third in the NFL, in the current scheme of the NFL. And before the Jets brought Blair in today, they're the 29th in terms of run-stopping. So that's a good scheme fit, the signing today. Maybe we'll get Morgan Moses and keep the good times rolling. But I'm telling you what, when's the last time the Jets had a pass rush?
Yeah, no, and that's kind of like, the next thing I was going to get into as well. Like, looking at those numbers, specifically the hurries, like that's what impressed me. Because like even in 2020, when all the other numbers were down because dudes were hurt, like the team was banged up left and right, like bad. Like Richard Sherman was out, everyone was out. They still were high in hurries. And like the years before that, everything, like it's crazy. Fifth in the NFL in sacks, second in hurries. The year before that, first in hurries. Like this is what they do. And Joe Douglas gave him the guys to do that. Guys like Carl Lawson, Vinnie Curry, could talk about other guys as well. But even the guys that are there, like Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, so many guys to just get into.
So many guys.
But even like just to start with, like, I don't know your favorite guy. My favorite guy is Carl Lawson. Like that's my favorite signing. I don't know about you.
Oh, the best signing of the offseason, definitely for the Jets. I mean, this guy. And the thing with the new statistics in football, to see these pressures and the QB hurries, they're obviously so important. And it's just, you just need guys to put pressure on a guy and disrupt things. And how many guys do the Jets have, like we just talked about, that are just vicious maniacs? I don't know how you're going to block any of those guys one-on-one. Quinnen has turned into an absolute monster. It looked like it was a little bit scary after his rookie year. We weren't sure what we were going to get, It's not even the sack total, 3 sacks, but or 2.5 sacks. He's not doing much, and you didn't see him. And then last year, he's just all over the place, causing havoc. And JFM is like a tornado, and Sheldon Rakins is a bull, and you have just good depth guys, even like Kyle Phillips hanging around, and Nathan Shepard. So a lot of depth, a lot of fun, and look, maybe we'll see some of those sack totals pile up with Carl Lawson and one of these other guys.
Yeah, man, that's the guy I'm excited about because, like, when we first signed Carl Lawson, I made the mistake myself. Like, I looked at his sack numbers and I was like, 5.5 sacks. That's not bad. Like, I want a guy to do better. But then I looked deeper than the sacks. And, dude, when you look deeper than the sacks, like, this dude, like salivation. Like, Lawson had 26 QB knockdowns in 2020. That was tied for first in the NFL with TJ Watt. He had 32 QB hits. That's more than Quinnen and John Franklin Myers combined. And it was second in the NFL just behind TJ Watt. That means with 32, the dude averaged 2 quarterback hits a game. Like, he's getting the QB 2 times a game, period. Season before, he had 22. That means he's got 54 in 2 years. Like, that is just ridiculous. I found last year he had 64 total pressures, which is just insanity. It literally ranked 4th among all rushers.
And the guy's young, and he seems like a good guy, and he's excited to be a Jet. I mean, you can't do much better than that. It's just, at some point, though, it would be nice for, you got to be a really elite pass rusher, that all the guys get sacks. And I tend to be a traditionalist with stats like this. In baseball, I defend RBIs all the time because you just do, like, you do drive in a run, like, it matters and it helps the team. And if you get a sack, you get a sack. And you can look year to year. There are certain times where guys just, especially interior linemen, you get pressure and the quarterback just throws the ball too fast. You just can't possibly get a sack on the play. But hopefully at some point Lawson gets up to double-digit sacks, because I think that's when you really, really see the impact. But like you said, I mean, the peripherals are all there. The contract was a no-brainer. He's a young guy. It's the theme of the offseason. Him and Corey Davis, kind of guys who were first-round pick, second-round pick, or whatever. He was a fourth-round pick, but drafted in before 2017, that draft. And now they're young 25-year-old maniacs who jacked and just, like, ready to go.
Yeah, because, dude, like, when I saw those numbers, like, I got crazy pumped because I realized, like, in every other category other than sacks, he's at the same level as TJ Watt. Like, he's got same amount of QB knockdowns, just under him in QB hits, like, right under him, which is ridiculous because, like, Watt's got, like, 40-something. He's got, like, 30-something. Everyone else has 20-something. Like, they're just beyond everyone else. But in sacks, Watt's got, like, 15. So the example I think of is a guy like Shaq Barrett. That's my go-to. Because, like, Shaq Barrett, when he was with the Broncos, he didn't put up big numbers. He was getting like 2-4 sacks a season. But PFF was grading the dude high. Like, he was grading at like 80 point something with low sacks, which you don't normally see from an edge rusher. because, all the other numbers were there, but the sacks weren't. Then he gets to the Buccaneers, and you know where I'm going with this. Freaking 19 and a half sacks later. That's what I'm thinking, man. That's what I'm hoping for. Like, that's my Carl Lawson. Like, I see TJ Watt, and I'm like, okay, that dude can get 15 plus sacks. Like, that's what I see when I see Carl Lawson.
I don't know about 19 and a half because I was going to say the prediction for next year, but dude, give me fucking 9 sacks, whatever. Like, it would be so.
I want double digits from him. I want double digits.
I agree. I agree. The only reason he's not going to get double digits if he doesn't is because
I say that.
Sacks.
Okay, that's fair. So, like, we got like 60 something sacks, but they're all eaten. Okay, cool. I'll take that. I'll take you on that. That's good stuff, man. That's the point. The team is like stacked upon stacked. And that was kind of like, me getting my love of Joe Douglas. Like, we talked about Carl Lawson. Bring up Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins, unlike Lawson, like Lawson was paid. Like, that dude was paid. Rankins wasn't. Rankin was given a 2-year deal worth up to $17 million. Because the dude was a 12th round pick back in 2016. He was supposed to be like Q. Like, he was supposed to be another Quinn Williams, basically. But he had 8 sacks 1 year and then 9.5 the other 4. So last year, though, he had one of his better years. He actually had the same amount of QB knockdowns as Quinn Williams. He actually only had a couple less pressures. So I'm hoping he can translate, that he can be like another Q in the middle, but he's not being paid much. So.
Yeah, look, I'm very happy about Sheldon Rankins, and the guy's athletic. You mentioned the year he had 8 sacks. He's also got up to 40 tackles. He 12 tackles for losses. His career high is a big number. That's a lot of impact plays for an interior defensive lineman. And then, like we said, and it's funny. Usually when the Jets get like a defensive lineman, you're like this guy was in a situation where he had so much help around him. Like Rankins coming from New Orleans, they have Cam Jordan and Trey Hendrickson, but this time the Jets have those guys, so you could you'd be like, oh, he's gonna get not double teamed. It's awesome. The only thing I want Joe Douglas to sign another corner, because are these guys gonna have any time to run to get to the quarterback? I mean, who's in the back end? Like, I love Bryce Hall. I have Bryce Hall's jersey. I love him. I like Bless Austin, but he didn't grade very well the last couple of years. And then you're left with a million rookies. Obviously, the Jets like some of these guys, the Eccles and Michael Carter. But is it really going to be Bryce Hall, JaVale and Guidry in the middle, and Bless Austin? Like, that's insane to me.
I got you, my man. And I can understand being a little hesitant on Bless Austin. Like, and before we get, because I'm happy to talk about the corners a little bit, because I feel like, unlike some people, I feel like we're better off. I actually, unlike a lot of people, I know my take is I feel like we're better off, kind of like Robert Saleh felt. Because actually they interviewed Robert Saleh at the last presser about the corner situation. And he literally said, he's like, I could bring in another veteran, but he's probably going to eat reps. And I want to see what these young guys can got. He thinks they're hungry and he wants to see what they have. My message, man, I get not liking Bless Austin. Don't sleep on Jason Pinnock.
Okay.
That's my message. Don't sleep on Pinnock. That kid has got some potential and then some, man. Like potential and then some. That kid from Pitt, exactly. When you think of Pitt, who do you think of?
Davis, yeah.
Come on. The reason is, I've been saying this to people. So, and I'm gonna throw this out because I freaking love Jason Pinnock. Like, again, just Joe Douglas being so great. I wasn't even that high on Pinnock. Like, I liked him. Like, I saw him play a little bit, and I loved how physical he was. Like, he's a big corner, plays very physically, keeps the receivers around him. He's got good ball tracking skills, but I didn't dig into him too much. After we drafted him, I dug into him. Bro, check this out. Just check this out. So, as our outside cornerback, 8th overall went J.C. Horn. Of course, J.C. Horn. And when J.C. Horn goes 8th overall, they start bragging about his 33% completion percent allowed last year. But guess what? That was second in the college football. Jason Pinnock had the lowest completion percentage of anybody in 2020, 3% less than J.C. Horn. He had a 30% completion percentage allowed. When it comes to completion percentage allowed at outside corner since 2019, he's second in the whole college football and he's actually better than Derek Stingley Jr. in that category. He's 1% less than Stingley Jr. And he's got the second most forced incompletions in the red zone since 2019, only behind Stingley. Like, this dude has been great. And I look at the knocks on him. The knocks are, he gets beat. He gets beat by speed guys. Well, I watch Pitt, so I know Pitt well enough, but ask anyone who's a big Pitt fan. Pitt fans will tell you that their outside CBs are on an island. Their outside CBs have no help. That's just how it works. You take Bryce Hall and you put a freaking Tyreek Hill on him. His ass is getting smoked too. Pinnock is just like Hall. He's a physical corner that's going to play one-on-one and dominate guys. But of course he's going to get beat over the top. That's what safety help is for. So that's the biggest knock on him. It's because he was on an island in college. You look at these numbers. They're up there with Horn. They're up there with Stingley Jr. Man, that's my only message. Don't sleep on Jason Pinnock.
Good. Look, I'm excited about some of these young guys, and I want the Jets to give them an opportunity. I don't think if the Jets go out and sign one of the veteran corners, everyone says the same names. It doesn't, whatever. If it's Richard Sherman, if it's a Steven Nelson guy, and I don't think they're going to do it now. They keep saying they're not going to do it, but I mean, it's not going to take so many reps away. Guys get hurt also. Richard Sherman played 5 games last year. You need a veteran guy in that room to kind of, coach these guys up and someone to look up to and learn from and someone to help out this pass rush because and especially rookie corners in the NFL don't fare so well. So, even some of the higher name guys that we've seen the last couple of years, like Okuda, some of these guys, they don't have the best rookie year. So, it's a lot to ask for Bryce Hall to be your number one guy. Bless Austin, who I don't dislike at all. I'm fine with him being a depth guy and playing some snaps on the outside, but he's your number 2. And then Guidry is your slot guy is very underwhelming to me.
Are you sure about that?
I'm underwhelmed. Why am I not underwhelmed? This is on paper the worst cornerback.
Did you watch him? Did you watch him last year? Did you look at the numbers he put up?
Who?
Guidry.
He measured well, whatever, but he's an undrafted guy. He played 7 games.
And he played just as well as Brian Poole when he got hurt. He came in and played literally at the same level as an undrafted guy.
I will believe in Guidry all I want. I'm not even asking to sign a slot corner. I'm asking to sign an outside corner. And yes, of course, I watched the games, and I looked at the numbers, and I see he's one of the faster guys. I need 1 million forced fumbles, which is random nonsense. I like Guidry. I like the depth guys. I'm happy that the Jets were able to develop some of the young guys. Last year when they're playing like garbage, the team, at least you get to see some of these guys and build depth. But right now, the Jets have, I would argue, or most people would probably argue, is the worst cornerback group in football on paper, and they have probably a top 5 defensive line. And if C.J. Mosley plays well, they have a very serviceable, if not good, linebacker core. So I think the Jets are wasting maybe an opportunity if they're not right. And some of these 4th, 5th undrafted guys are like breakout stars. And it's frustrating to me because I'm not saying...
You have to look at who's available. That's the thing. Like, if a guy like an actual CB1 was available, I think Joe would strike. But Steve Nelson was never a CB1 on his best days. We have to call a spade a spade. He's always been a CB2 every day.
I think it's overrated. Everyone says him because he's like...
Steven Nelson, you can sign him if you want, but he's a CB2. He's been a CB2 his whole career. That's what he's going to be. And Richard Sherman was a CB1 a couple years back. I mean, I think he might still be able to be, but you talked about Bryce Hall, man. You got to remember Bryce Hall last year looked like a CB1, and that was in a bad system with Adam Gase and Greg Williams. Like, with the odds against him. Like, that's why I'm excited about guys like Bryce Hall, guys like John Franklin Myers, because, like, they showed up when the things were bad. So, like, what's going to happen when they're good?
Hopefully it works out very well. I'm not, I like what the Jets have on the roster, but not in the positions that they're in. And why didn't the Jets go after any of these other corners? I didn't go after Kyle Fuller or Patrick Peterson or take your pick.
Well, Kyle Fuller's he's not what he used to be. There's a reason the Bears got him. He's not the same as he used to be.
Look, it is what it is. You can make that point.
Casey Hayward would have been a decent option, but he's gone. Casey Hayward is an older guy that could have potentially maybe been a CB1 again.
He only got $2.5 million, and they just have 25.
He's getting up there. That's the thing. Like he's like Sherman. They were CB1s in their heydays, but now
I think Richard Sherman was like the number 2 graded corner last year. I'm not. And look, if the Jets are trying to make a championship run, and you have 33-year-old Richard Sherman as your number 1 corner, it's probably not going to work out 100%. But if you have a top 5 defensive line, a good linebacking core, a young, extremely young cornerback group, completely unproven, guys have some, good metrics and some good end to the season last year, it's not good enough. It's very frustrating, and we're sitting on a pile of fucking cash. And the same thing happened last year. I said we don't have enough wide receiver depth. We don't have offensive line depth. We don't have anything. And we went into the season with $26 million in cap space, and we didn't have a pass rusher. And all these areas just were shit, and we knew they were going to be shit. So
I think we do now. I think, honestly, we're sick. I can't think of any position we're not better off at. I mean, even corner, we talked about it before. The slot cornerback position, for example. Bryce Poole, everyone wanted Brian Poole. Everyone was like, we should bring Brian Poole back. I was saying no, because Guidry, man, Guidry's it. Guidry had limited sample size, but he showed it, man. So we took two.
Guidry is it. I mean, I'm just not sold yet, and I'm very happy we have the guy. And
do you know what Guidry's coverage grade last year was?
What was it?
It was like 1 or 2 points below Brian Poole. Brian Poole, one of the best, and this is, everyone knows this. Poole was one of the better slot cornerbacks for the last 2 years for the Jets. When he got hurt, Guidry came in, and I didn't notice a difference. That's the best way to look at it. Guidry came in, and there wasn't like this horrible drop off. And the dude is a burner. He runs a 4.2. But that's what I was trying to get at with this.
We got destroyed. How many passes defended did Guidry have last year? 0.
I have to look at the numbers, but look at his coverage grading. Coverage, he grades at like 76.5. I watched him. He's very good in man coverage. He's very good. I liked him. I like his ability to read the ball, playing coverage.
If the Jets want to roll with him at slot corner, and
I think he's going to impress you, man. I really do.
Good. I hope so. And if the Jets
think of it last year, did you feel like he was so much worse when he came in for Brian Poole?
I felt like the Jets' pass defense was an abomination last year.
And just slot corner. Just slot corner.
I swear to God, I don't have a big problem with Guidry. I just don't like the fact that we have 3 completely unproven guys as our starting corners. Every backup is unproven. Every guy is 22 years old.
It's a young team we're building, man. We're building a team.
Why do we have to wait? Why does it have to be?
Who's there? That's the thing. So, like, who's the option? Like,
Richard Sherman.
That's the thing. So, like, you remember I was big on Sherman. I was huge on Sherman for the longest time. I accepted this. If we were going to sign Richard Sherman, it was when free agency started. Saleh was going to turn to Sherman and be like, I need you as that leader. I need you in the locker room. I feel like that would have happened already. I feel like that ship sailed. Like, the longer we waited, I figured we weren't getting Sherman.
Whatever. The ship sailed. I don't care. I'm not even arguing the Jets are going to or not do it. I'm just saying I'm frustrated that they don't seem like they're going to.
Here's the thing, though. So look at last year. Even when Sherman was hurt, their corner play wasn't terrible, and they don't have the best corners because Saleh's defenses rely on, like we said, getting to the quarterback. Their QB hurries are always high. So we have a really good front four, like you mentioned. I think the linebackers, Nasseldine, Sherwood, those 2 kids are slept on. Like, those 2 safeties at linebackers, they're going to be sideline to sideline, every tackle, blowing people up. Like, you have to factor that in too, actually. You have to factor them into coverage in the middle of the field.
I'm very happy with a lot of these rookie guys and these young players, but every guy – surprise me will be this and this, and I share your optimism. I'm like pumped up. I don't want to sound so negative. I just don't like what the Jets did at cornerback because it's just not.
Well, and again, it comes down to what the options were. I liked some of the guys in the draft, but again, look who they took. So again, they took Michael Carter to play corner, and they took Brandon Echols to play corner.
But why aren't they even looking at some of these guys? And look,
they're good picks actually. Both of them are good picks.
I don't know. Why aren't they looking at free agent cornerbacks? I'm not saying to go out and
who else would you take? Because Sherman obviously isn't coming, because I feel like that would happen.
Patrick Peterson, somebody. I'm not saying give Patrick Peterson 5 years, $100 million. It's a $100 million contract. 1 year, $8.5 million, because we're not using the money anyway, and that's what's pissing me off. It's that I think that the Giants have a top 10 defense, and I don't trust 3 unproven corners. How many rookies are we going to start? Like 11 on our team, which
might work. And that's again the point. The point is potential right now. It's baby steps. Like, if I feel like, do you feel this season that if we don't make the playoffs, it's a loss?
No, but I think
it's over.
The playoffs. I think we're right there, and I don't think the AFC East is that good. I'm not so scared of the Bills. The Patriots can go fuck.
The Bills forget the Bills. Forget the Patriots. But the Bills are getting there, man.
Yeah, but the Bills are not the Patriots that won the division 22 times in a row. I keep forgetting about that. We have to remind ourselves the AFC East is now wide open. Once Brady and Belichick are gone, it's wide open. Teams don't win the division 10 years in a row ever. It's insane. And Josh Allen, maybe played a little bit over his head. We'll see what happens. I'm not super scared.
I would agree it's wide open. I wouldn't say don't sleep on the Bills. That's what I'm saying. Don't sleep on the Bills and Josh Allen. But I would agree. Yeah, no, it is open right now. Belichick's going to try to fill that freaking void again. We gotta be ready for that. Oh, I think he screwed the pooch in getting Mac Jones. I am
that piece of shit.
I mean, he did what I wanted because he got the quarterback that I figured was overrated. So.
Yeah, no, I'm not so sad that they got Mac Jones. If that works out, whatever. Fuck us, but. If they got Justin Fields and he fell, it would be so annoying to listen to if he turned out good. But look, I would have upgraded corner. I would have done it. I'm very comfortable. I swear, I'm comfortable with Zach Wilson. I'm comfortable with Elijah Vera Tucker starting. I'm comfortable with Elijah Moore playing a lot. I'm comfortable with either Nasruddin or Sherwood playing the will spot. I'm even comfortable with Bryce Hall and one of Guidry or, two of those three guys starting.
I'll tell you what, bro. Check it out. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I did a podcast episode. It was like 2 hours long. I legitimately went through every single position.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you'll get psyched, man. I'm telling you. You'll see what I'm saying.
I'm very pumped. I'm telling you, I'm comfortable with all of those rookies starting. I'm not comfortable with all of our corners being unproven guys from nowhere.
I would be upset if there was like somebody legitimately worth getting that was out there. That's how I would look at it. If there was somebody like legitimately worth getting. I mean,
guys, there were so many guys. Maybe we'll get lucky and Gilmore will get cut and Joe Douglas will get off his ass. But I don't gonna do that either.
But don't sleep, man. I'm telling you. I mean, even guys like, you never know, even a guy like Lamar Jackson comes out of nowhere. Did you know Lamar Jackson last year had the lowest mixed tackle percentage on the whole team?
Great,
as an undrafted guy.
Why have to come out of nowhere? Why can we get a guy from somewhere? In this.
Well, because that's how the picks fell. We took 2 corners and we took 2 slot guys, and that's the thing with the 2 slot guys we got. Dude, Douglas, think of it this way: we got 3 slot cornerbacks right now, right? We got Guidry, we got Michael Carter II, and we got Brandon Echols.
Okay.
Do you know what those guys' 40 times are?
They're very fast.
4.29, 4.3, and 4.34. Like, he got 3 guys that are not getting beat over the top. And Echols is borderline big enough to arguably start outside if you put on a little more weight.
Sure. Look, I'm very excited about these guys. I like the job he did in the draft. I don't think it's unfair to say at all that the Jets should have went after one veteran guy. If you told me before this,
well, they did go after one veteran guy, and that's the guy I was going to bring up. They got Vin Curry, and that's a leader. That's a leader in the locker room.
I'm talking literally about cornerback.
Oh, just corner.
Just corner. I like what Joe Douglas did in the offseason. I do, especially AVT. I love the AVT pick, and some of the defensive line, Carl Lawson, Corey Davis. I like. I'm very happy. At cornerback, if you told me that they would go into 2021 with fucking Bless Austin, Bryce Hall, and Guidry, I'd be like, you're a psychopath. Like, they can't do it.
I'm telling you, I would have thought the same thing. And I think Austin, he looked good as a rookie when he played exclusively in man coverage. He failed last year with Williams in the zone and Williams not know how to use him properly. Salah's going to use guys properly. That's the thing. Like, all 3 slot guys we have, like I pointed this out in the other podcast I was talking about, they all are elite man coverage. Guidry, Carter, and Echols, like all 3 dominate in man coverage. He's been mixing stuff up. He's going to have zone man. He's going to have hybrid systems on the field at the same time. So he's going to use Austin to his strengths. So I think he might work, but now I'm saying don't sleep on Jason Pinnock. Like, I would not be surprised if it's Jason Pinnock and Bryce Hall starting on the outside week 1, and those 2 guys are freaking locked down, and they're both 5th round picks. So that would be so Joe Douglas to get 2 shutdown corners in the 5th round.
I would pay $1,000 right now for that to happen. Like,
dude, look at the numbers. The numbers on Pinnock, like, I didn't even know him. And then when I looked at him, I did like double takes. I was like, wait, what? Like, that's J.C. Horn? Like, wait, Derek Stingley? Like, what the shit? Like, he's on that list?
If the Jets have 2 young stud corners, they draft late, be the coolest thing in the world. But we'll see what happens. I hope you're right. I'm not excited about these guys, and I'm happy to read after the draft the excitement a lot of people are excited about, especially the corners and those, the late round picks the Jets made on defense. So we'll see what happens. It is good stuff with the right coach. So, but I mean, how many times am I not going to sleep? I'm never going to sleep ever again if I have to go through this roster with you. I'm pumped though. It's good stuff. It's a lot of fun, cool, interesting guys. The Jets. Maybe one of these guys pops. The Jets are in a very good spot, but we'll see. Maybe next year with one of the early picks, they'll take a corner or they'll draft a guy, or maybe
Derek Stingley's the guy next year. I mean, I would be totally cool if the Jets traded up to get Derek Stingley Jr. Like, that would be freaking legit.
We're going to trade up. The Seahawks are going 0-17. We'll have the first.
That's some funny shit, man. I mean, with Russell Wilson at quarterback, that's the thing. No matter how bad the Seahawks are, no matter how much little talent they have, no matter how much their offensive line sucks, no matter how much Pete Carroll screws it up, Russell Wilson finds a way to win games. It's just Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson.
Too bad they didn't trade him. I was so fucking hoping that would happen. That would have been so good for us if they got rid of him. Oh my god, it would have been hilarious. Jamal Adams went like 4-13. Ugh.
Yeah, but we mentioned Vinny Curry before. Like, it's good to have that veteran presence, a veteran guy in the locker room, the leadership. And people are like, oh, he's 33 years old. Like, so what? Like, the dude had 10 quarterback hits last year. Like, that would have ranked fourth on our team. Like, his 3 sacks would have been third. Like, even at 33, the dude is still, like, pretty legit for what we consider an edge rusher. And he's going to be a mentor to guys like Carl Lawson, Bryce Huff, maybe Ronald Blair, who they just signed.
Oh, it's great, dude. And this guy, who cares? You put him in on third down. You rile him up on the sideline. I would go on the sideline and call him an asshole like 10 times until third down, and then release him the field and try to get a sack on third down. This guy is perfect for the Jets. Another situational rusher. Like you said, another guy. They have Huff, they have this, and then you compliment the inside guys. And how are you going to block all these guys? Good. He'll get a one-on-one every single time he's on the field.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like, you look at this, like, just exclusively an edge rusher. We got Carl Lawson now, Vinny Curry, Bryce Huff, Ronald Blair, like, and all these interior guys. Like, there's so many interchangeable parts. Like, they could all, like you said, all get a couple of sacks together and light it up. So, like, I remember you saying, I didn't want to keep you too long because there's so many guys you can get into. Like, literally, like, I can give you stats on all these guys.
Oh, dude, it's the best. I mean, and it's finally something to, get excited about after the Jets really didn't compete in any of the early games last year. So it was funny. Matt and I were trying to go over some of the Jets' best moments last year on our podcast, and it was like hilarious. Like, it was a joke.
Was it like 2 things, like 3 things?
Like Jamison Crowder scored a touchdown week 1 to make
when Mekhi Becton did that roar that became a GIF.
Mekhi Becton yelled.
That's what.
It was like Darnold's run, but by that time, the Jets already owned 4. Oh, it was so brutal, and like now it finally seems to look forward to and be excited about and get pumped up for the season opener, week 2 against New England. Like, just so, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I can't wait for. I know you said he'll win you. Zach Wilson's going to win you over. That man's going to make you. He's going to make you fall in love very quickly.
I'm already won over. Zach Wilson is my guy. 2nd overall pick. Every analyst at some point was on him, even if it took a long time. I'm happy with Zach. I just think it's the wrong football move, but that's okay. I could be wrong. I'm not.
And it's fair. I mean, if you did love Sam, like I loved Zach, and for a long time, like I fell for him back when it was like Fields was the guy. Like this was the second quarterback. Like Zach Wilson's nobody. Like it was easy for me. Like I loved Zach. Like this was perfect. But I can get being in that other boat. But that's why I think again it's important that we put ourselves in this position where there is no controversy right now. There's no split reps and who's the guy and split fan base.
Look, you got sold on Zach in December. If the Jets kept Sam, maybe you thought it was the wrong move, and that's how I feel right now. But that's okay. I'm still excited about the team, and I technically hope Sam doesn't do well because the Jets have the Panthers' 2nd round pick. But we'll, maybe he throws for 4,200 yards and they go like 5-12, and then I'll be happy.
And if you're a big Sam guy, you'd probably like it then, because my take has been like I'm all Zach. Like Zach's the guy, like hands down. But my take has been surprising for week 1 against the Panthers. Like people tend to forget, like Sam Darnold can be playing his 39th NFL game. Like Zach Wilson's going to be in his first game ever. He's a rookie acclimating to the NFL, literally playing in his first game. Like God forbid he looks like a rookie playing in his first game. Like Sam Darnold's playing in his 39th game. Like even if he's not great, he should look like he's playing in his 39th game with a better team around him. So there is actually a decent chance that he could look better than Zach. And I know when that's going to happen. You know what's going to freaking happen. If we lose, or if Sam looks better, we made the wrong decision. Zach's not the guy. We screwed it up. Off with Joe's head. My message is, I'm telling you, Zach's definitely the guy. If Sam Darnold should look better than Zach week 1, honestly. I mean, he's playing in his 39th game.
I was upset when the schedule came out and the Jets are playing the Panthers because it's going to be the same narrative. It's going to be annoying. Either way, it's a lose-lose. I guess unless Zach throws for like 400 yards, then it's not a lose. But
which is possible. I mean, the talent's definitely there. I just want to tamper it down because, again, it's a rookie playing his first game. Hopefully, like there is an acclimation level. But I think he could take off. He could easily, he could light it up and take off.
The Panthers don't have a particularly good defense. They don't have a very good offensive line. I think it's a very good matchup for the Jets. especially the Jets defense versus the Panthers offense. We don't have any corners anyway, so they have good receivers, but the Jets should be. Darnold did not. We'll see this time. And hopefully the Jets just win week 1. It'll be so much easier to not have to deal with all that bullshit. And if the Jets win week 1, holy shit, week 2 is going to be insane for the home opener.
I agree, man. I agree. And I definitely think it can happen. Like that, I just feel like I'm, just letting people know, because I see that narrative happening. Like if Zach Wilson looks like a kid playing his first ever NFL game, which is exactly what he is, and Sam looks like a guy playing his 39th game, even if Zach looks better, but we still lose, it's still going to be spun. Like the narrative will still be spun, like you said, no matter what. So I feel like that's the big thing. Like I believe in Zach, man. Like I think he's going to be great, but even the greatest quarterback struggled at first.
Of course. Look, if a guy like me who has been a Sam defender and the Jets lose week 1 like 28-17 and Sam kills Zach, and I come out and say, "Oh, what a stupid mistake," it just looks dumb on me. Like it's obviously too short of a sample. It's stupid. It's and people are going to do it, but you shouldn't take that seriously because you got to give the guy some time to establish himself. So this is going to be, we're going to come back and look at this in 5 years. And then you say, oh my God, the Jets threw 4 first-round picks in the trash. Or you say, oh my God, the Jets are in the AFC Championship game. Thank God. It's going to be one of those. So we'll see. And I'm pumped. I think Joe is putting Zach Wilson in a good spot. Right coach, good weapons. Offensive line, go get Morgan Moses, sign a fucking cornerback so I don't have to.
I mean, Morgan Moses is interesting because I love it. It's like they announce it after the fact. They're like, Morgan Moses is visiting the Bears today. And oh, by the way, Jet fans, he was here last week. And everyone's like, wait, what the hell? Why weren't we told this last week? Like, what the hell is happening? Like, that's like what the tweet was like. It's like, he's going to the Bears today. He saw the Jets. Maybe he'll see other teams. And we're like, wait, what?
I think Rappaport tweeted that. Yeah.
But I mean, it would be a great signing. I just feel like, I feel like they would have done it. Like, I feel like why would Joe be letting him go to the Bears and potentially, get an offer and bring it back to us?
He's the best GM ever. He should.
I feel so, man. I really do. I when you talk about negotiations, he wins them all. That's just another one. He wins them all, man. He wins them all. Every trade this man does, it's like he's like a ninja. Like, if you look at the metrics, it's almost like he's got what he wants. And then at the end, he's just like, and give me a little bit more of this.
And they're like,
and throw this in.
Yeah.
And yeah. Like with the AVT pick, like everyone's freaking out. We gave away 2 third-round picks. Do you know who we got? Like, I mean, I've been saying the way you got to look at this is I thought AVT, I said he was a top 15 guy. There's no way he falls out of the top 15. We have to trade up like at 13, 14, 15, 16 to get him, give or take. That's what I've been saying. Turned out it was right. But Joe Douglas went even further and said he's a top 10 pick. We got to think of this as like when the Colts took Quentin Nelson, like when Washington took Brandon Scherf. Like, this is the quality of offensive guard we're getting. Do you know what his pass blocking grade was in 2020?
1 million.
Pretty freaking close, bro. I mean, 92.8. Like, that shit's like he missed like one guy. Like, other than that, it's like perfect.
Dude, I'm hyped.
In 2019, he was the number 1 pass blocker, number 1 run blocker, like across the board. Like, this dude is going to light it up fast. Like, fans that are like, and that's the thing, fans are, saying like, oh, everyone is saying we gave away too much. It's going to change. I'm telling you, in a couple of years, it's going to be like, that's all you gave up? Like, all you gave up was 2 third-round picks to get a guy of that caliber?
We'll see how that Darisaw guy turns out for the Vikings. But I'm super pumped. I love the AVT pick. I always wanted to just have some kind of noticeable advantage / what's the word? Fuck. Like the ground to pound. What is that? Your identity. Jesus Christ. So I always wanted to have a real identity. And I think at this time, let's had a great chance to build an offensive line. The Jets have this offensive line. Like, what the hell? How are we gonna do anything on defense against this? So if you get Morgan Moses, I think the Jets really have like a top 10-ish offensive line. Right now it's solid, but I wanted even more. I wanted to sign a top right tackle and draft AVT and draft a guy at 23, but they didn't have the pick anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to put all the resources somewhere and dominate the lines. I think if the Jets do get Moses, you have a chance to really dominate the offense and defensive line.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. I mean, the offensive line, Joe really addressed it, and there were so many later round draft picks that I really, really liked at offensive line, like a lot of later round guys. We didn't take any of them. That made me feel that Joe, I think he really believes in maybe Cameron Clark. Like I did an offensive line podcast, like I think it was the last one back or before that. Cameron Clark, like, don't sleep on that kid. Like, that kid's like a mini Becton. Like, he's got a nasty streak. He puts people down. I think Tristan Hodge could be an interesting option. And he also brought in a couple of other interesting undrafted guys. Like Ferguson, I've heard, is shown a little bit. Sales is shown a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, right now it's kind of wide open, that right side.
The Jets have a lot of shots to the dartboard. You still have Alex Lewis, and GVR is nice. And
Alex Lewis, you got to put him in the toilet as fast as possible. Just put him in and hit the flusher. Just get him out of there.
I mean, like, the guy has started a bunch of games in the NFL. If he's our 50th best offensive lineman, that's okay. So, and maybe, and look, hopefully Cam Clark has every opportunity to beat him out. Because if Cam Clark had somehow, it was funny, we asked the question, if you could pick, I think Matt put on Twitter, if you could pick one guy in the Jets to become an all-pro in 2021, who would it be? And I think it would be Cam Clark. Because, you know, like, Mekhi Becton might already become an all-pro.
Mekhi Becton should have been an all-pro. Let's just clarify that. He should have been an all-pro. Yeah, like, that was a freaking travesty. Him and Quinn Williams. Like, how the hell did they not make the Pro Bowl?
Quinn and Williams should, oh, my God, for sure.
And Becton, too, man. I mean, both of them. Like, doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you can make an argument. And imagine if Cam Clark became an all-pro on that line. Like, whoa. That's like, it'd be...
Well, ABT is very possible. He could do it. He could easily be an all-pro by the end of the year.
So I wouldn't pick him for that because he could be anyway, right? Like Cam Clark at this point, I would be happy if he's like some kind of starting swing guy. Like, you know, like what do you? It's fun. Like hopefully we expect a lot from him, but to actually expect something from him when he didn't touch the field last year is tough. So now if he becomes anything, let alone an all-pro, it's going to be just great for the Jets.
Well, bro, my big thing was, again, if you want to check it out, that whole thing on the offensive line, my big question mark is honestly Connor McGovern. Like, everyone loves Connor McGovern, and I don't get it. Like, I've been against the guy for a while. I don't get it this year. The dude allowed 6 sacks. Like, that's not even good for a guard. Like, people talk about centers allowing, like, 1 sack tops. Like, the dude allowed 6 sacks. I think I lost you.
No, we're here. Sorry, I was typing. I was trying to find, Nanny had posted a good
like I was saying for the longest time, like even last year during free agency, I was mentioning guys like Chase Rollier, the guy that Washington wound up re-signing as their center. I wanted Humphrey for the longest time. I mean, McGovern, this is the biggest thing. Everyone's biggest thing they like to quote. This is the quote, that from week 10 on, Connor McGovern was a top 10 guard. That's the quote everyone says. From week 10 on, Connor McGovern was a top 10 guard. Yeah, but his PFF grade when he was top 10 was 69 point something. Like, take that on it. What's up?
I see weeks 9 to 17, he had a 74 grade. He allowed 0 pressures over 38 snaps. And the Jets averaged 5.5 yards a carry through the A-gap. That's pretty good. That's awesome. But I understand. He didn't play well in the beginning of the year, obviously. And all those sacks came in the first half of the year.
Are you sure it's 74? Because I thought it was around 70 for his.
Maybe after. 10 on. No, I see this was from weeks 9 to 17. He had a 74 overall grade. Maybe that's 10.
That's not terrible. That's still not great, but that's not terrible.
Yeah.
But still, weeks 1 through 9, it was really bad. Week 1 through 9. And consistently last year, he was one of our worst offensive linemen. So, hey, he's our guard. He's our center right now. I mean, it is what it is. So I hope that end of the season is a trend in the right direction. I still don't think it was good enough, but yeah, I'm hoping. So, but yeah, I mean, he allowed 6 sacks, and the majority of the season, he wasn't that good. Like weeks 1 through 9, it was just abysmal. And if it's, 9 abysmal weeks and then 9 great weeks, that's still not good enough.
I wanted Matt Paradis the year before, and he wasn't so good.
Yeah, man. Well, you can thank Anthony Barr for that one. I still hate Anthony Barr because of that. I still hate that man. It's because of him, right?
Well, it's actually better. Well, Paradis didn't.
He's the reason we lost out on Paradis. Mac let it slip. He's like, he wanted to offer money to another guy we knew was the center, but he couldn't because the money was tied up in Anthony Barr.
It's probably better we didn't get either guy. But
Paradis, I mean, he's not.
Whatever.
He's not the worst. I mean, he hasn't been as good as he was, but he's not the worst.
I actually liked the Ron signing at the time. I was happy.
Everyone did. I mean, I didn't like bringing a guy out of retirement. I mean, that's usually never a good sign to begin with.
Yeah.
But it was exciting. I mean, it was a name. So
He's playing with Sam. Thought the Jets were supposed to be good. What a disaster, dude. Ugh. Well, this was fun. I like talking football. You want to? I think I have to go drink. It's that time. What is it? 8:15. Oh, it's time to have a couple brews. Is there any other defensive linemen you wanted to discuss?
oh well, yeah, man. What we'll do is, because you've been here a while. Appreciate you being here, my man.
Of
Appreciate
course.
you coming in, and we'll talk stuff. You can always come back. We'll love talking about them Jets. I figure we'll end it off. I had a nice little game. I figure we'll end it off with a game.
I like
So the Jets last year had 31 sacks, which is pretty freaking abysmal. Like
Okay.
pretty freaking abysmal. So we'll just quickly go through like a couple of the top guys just to show, how they can easily top that. So they had 31 sacks last year. Now I know you felt a little differently, but I think Carl Lawson could easily have 10 to 15. I don't know how you think.
I think he can. I think that's fair.
Okay, so we put Carl Lawson at 10 to 15. I think Quinnen Williams and Sheldon Rankins, between the two of them, should have about 15. That's about 7 to 8 each.
Sure.
That seems to me about average. So just between the two of them right there, you got potentially 30. Like that's it. Just between the three of them, that could be about 30. Now you factor in John Franklin Myers. John Franklin Myers could be good for another 5 to 10, I would say. And then take all the rest of the guys. Foley, Shepard,
What about
Curry, like all the rest of the guys. You could probably factor that in for another 10 plus
Yeah, and
with everyone all together. So if you do the math there, like that's like high 40 something to like 50 something, potentially even 60 something sacks if these guys totally destroy it.
Yeah, that's good health, but also that's not even including. Obviously, you get sacks from other positions.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Sacks from corners. So that's the thing, man. Like you look at that, like just between those top three guys alone, they could have 30. This could be exciting. I mean, 31 last year. This could be a big change.
When's also been like the top 10 or top 15 even? Maybe with the Sons of.
I mean, I was actually going to bring that up, and I was actually in the beginning, I was hoping to reminisce a little bit and, go back to like that used to be the Jets thing, man. Like you remember, like we used to get to the quarterback. Like when I was a kid, like that was our thing. Like the Jets got to the quarterback, they had a solid defense, they played the D well, they hit hard. Like call the offense what you want, but the defense always came to play.
Yeah.
So like I don't know about you, but one of my favorite guys to get to the cornerback when I was a kid was Sean Ellis. I loved Sean Ellis.
Yes.
I don't know about you, like who your guy was. Like I'm putting myself like my date there. Like I know some guys will like be really old and they'll be like Gastineau. my guy was Sean Ellis. Like that was my guy growing up.
I wish I got to see Gastineau and Klecko in the sack exchange, but I loved Calvin Pace, like with all my heart. I mean, the guy is one of the best free agent signings in the team history.
I'm with you.
After 2008, he's part of all of our great defenses. He was still around in 2015. He was there the whole time. He had that fun, ridiculous 10-sack season in 2013 when he had like 6 times he had like an unblocked sack, which is like a stupid number. But I love Calvin Pace. He's my guy, and I love Sean Ellis too. Woo.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like, and I think you'll agree. You remember all those Jet years with Calvin Pace? Those guys were so good. You know who was massively slept on? The other guy, Brian Thomas. Dude, Brian Thomas was good in his own right. Like that dude wasn't the best pass rusher, but he was a good run stopper and he was a good disruptor. Like that guy played well and hard.
People forget Brian Thomas had a pick in the AFC Championship game in 2010, where the Jets obviously lost to the Steelers, but underrated player. And people, and
very underrated because of Pace. Yeah.
I literally forgot about that play because I hadn't watched the highlights of that game in like years because I was upset. And then I watched it, I was like, oh my God, I forgot Brian Thomas had a pick. But people don't. The only reason people want to love Brian Thomas because he was a 22nd pick in the draft, and he's a little bit underwhelming in that aspect. But he's a terrific Jet. He was on the team for 11 years, whatever, 10 years. Another guy, and part of the 2009 defense. Anyone part of the 2009-2010 defense is just beloved in my book.
Yeah, he was solid. I mean, not most first round picks freaking bust. So he was solid. I mean, I would say he was good.
Oh, he's fine.
I liked him, and he was underrated in that defense. Like he was totally slept on.
Yeah, look, he had 8.5 sacks 1 year, 6 1 year. He got up to 77 tackles, hitting the quarterback, and he's part of 4 playoff teams with the Jets. 02, 04, 06. 9 and 10 5 times. The 1998 to 2010 Jets, very good franchise. That's our best stretch.
Yeah, that was the years with the Bill Parcells Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, dude.
We had our future Chad. Dude, Chad Pennington would have been it. Chad Pennington, if it weren't for injury, if it weren't for bad luck, man, that guy would have been it. I'll say it to anyone. Like, Tom Brady wouldn't have been Tom Brady if Chad Pennington had a career. Like, instead of Tom Brady having like 7 Super Bowls, him and Chad would have like 3 to 4 each. Like, that would be what would be going on. Like, legit.
Dude,
but it never happened.
The only times he started more than 10 games in a season, 4 times, he made the playoffs every single time. So, and he was, when he retired, the NFL historic leader in completion percentage. I think.
Oh, dude, Chad Pennington was one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever. I would argue Chad Pennington is easily one of the most accurate quarterbacks to ever live, to ever play the game. Like, that dude was just, and that's why he was able to keep playing when, dude, he had no arm strength left. Like, he was basically throwing up missiles. Like, those things were like peewee, like lobs, and they were still hitting the receiver in stride. Like, I've never seen a quarterback with just no arm strength and somehow hit a receiver in stride. Like, no one else could have done that.
It's funny. Well, maybe Peyton Manning at the end, but he still had something more.
He still had an arm, man. Chad had no arm. Chad was throwing like I could have thrown at that arm strength.
Dude, when Chad threw the bomb to Santana Moss against the Chargers in the playoffs, it's like, that play is hilarious because he really winds up and throws it like as hard as he can. And then it just got like downhill from there. Like, he couldn't throw the ball. Yeah, it's insane. And then he won 11 games with the Dolphins, obviously. But what a shame. What a shame it didn't work out. But, you know, Chad is fondly looked back by a lot of Jet fans, and he rightfully so.
Yeah, man. But especially with that game, like I was thinking about it earlier. Like, it's just, even on the low end, like, we should be able to really cause some damage this year. And like we talked about earlier, that's how a Robert Saleh defense worked. We talked about the QB hurries. They were always top of the league, even top of the league when their defense sucked, because that's what they do. They consistently disrupt the play and disrupt the quarterback so that the corners, I mean, it'd be nice to have a great corner, but I just feel like, you know, like I said, Hall, man, he was a CB1. Like, he was a legit CB1 last year in the shittiest of shittiest systems. So, like, that's why I feel like there's hope for him. And I'm just like, don't sleep on Pinnock. Like, I'm just thinking, like, I'm excited about Pinnock. Like, I know people I'm not excited about Bless Austin. I'm like, I'm not either. Look at Jason Pinnock.
I'm pumped about Bryce Hall. I hope one of these other guys pop. And if they do, the Jets are in a very good spot.
Yeah, and we got it covered in the slot, man. Like we said, all 3 of those guys, 4-3 something 40.
They better make me not sleep on them. That's it. We'll see. I'll try to stay awake, and I love these guys. Look, I love every guy in the Jets. I'm like super excited about this team. I think we're in a good spot, especially moving forwards.
No, I agree, man. I agree, definitely. But yeah, I won't keep you too much longer. We've been going for a while now, but I appreciate you being here. Like always, thank you for coming in, man.
Super fun to talk Jets. Next time we won't spend so much time on the quarterback. I got fired up, but it was only because
it's all good, man. It's all good. Hey, I'll tell you what, if you guys want, have me on Broadway Jets, and we'll talk all about the quarterback.
And dude, we'll do it. And I'm just saying, it all pertains.
We can get into it. I'm cool. I'm cool. That's the thing. Like, I feel like people can't respect each other's opinions. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like I don't agree with what you're saying, but I mean, you say it, and I'll say what I'm thinking, and we'll have a conversation about it.
I understand what you're saying. It makes sense. Yeah, exactly. I don't exactly agree. But the reason I don't mean to keep bringing up the Sam thing.
No, it's cool, man. We're done with the pass rush now. We can stay on. We can stay on till whenever. You guys want to stay on for another couple of hours? No, I'm just we got the people in the chat. They're happy. They're all talking it up. Ciro's making some good comments. Just shout out to you guys. I appreciate you, Ciro. Appreciate you, James, Noel, John, Braden, AJ, all you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Like always, bring questions along, bring comments. Kind of just throwing out what Ciro said, because that was kind of just how I felt. He said, Connor McGovern could be a top 10 guard from week 10 on, but we need to be a top 10 guard from the first snap, period. So I could feel that. He talks about Khalil being a train wreck. I think we could all agree with that sentiment.
He was a train wreck. I was happy at the time.
We all were, man. It was a name. That's the thing. It's a name. Like, yeah.
So, all right. I got to go meet the wife for, she's not my wife. She's my girlfriend for drink. So I'm gonna, dude. Anytime we'll have you on the podcast. It's a lot of fun. And next time we'll reminisce, do some bullshit, talk about some old Jets teams. It'd be a lot of fun.
Sounds good, man. So all you guys out there, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for being here for the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Don't forget we're live usually every Monday. Remember, Monday was Memorial Day, so we shook it up a little bit. We're usually live every Monday on YouTube, 7 p.m. Be there. Please subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Twitter. Check out my website. Check out Mike. Him and Matt do great stuff on Twitter. Working over at Jet X Factor now. Great stuff going on. But again, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you again for tuning in. And I hope you guys have a great Monday evening.